People seem to think that I, Sir Richard Pitchard, am a cynical, mean-spirited sort of fellow, that I'm the kind of man who throws eggs and pieces of Lego at orphans, and whilst I'm legally obliged to tell you that I have done that, when it comes to video games it's rare that I find a game so dreary that I don't find something to like about it. God, I love foreshadowing. So Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood then, a game that had more words in its title than things to do in it. The game begins by telling us that there's an eternal conflict between nature, represented by Gaia, and decay, represented by the Worm. Kinda like if Greta Thunberg did one of those YouTube boxing matches against Jacob Rees-Mogg, which would be far more interesting than this game to be honest. You see, Mogg has the reach, but Greta looks like she'd go absolutely mental if pushed into a corner, so I reckon it'd be a real contest. What the fuck am I on about? Oh yeah, so our protagonist is Cahal, whose name I legitimately had to Google despite the fact that I finished the game 10 minutes ago at time of writing. He's a member of a gang of werewolf eco-warriors. Our first mission is that we need to sneak into an oil plant run by a company called Endron and fiddle with the data there to trick them into thinking the oil has run dry so they leave. That's right, this high-octane action game starts with the main characters altering some data. Start as you mean to go on, I suppose. Cahal is not happy about the fact his wife Ludmilla has gone in ahead of him. God, I love foreshadowing. Before leaving on the mission, Cahal checks in on his daughter and oh my Jesus Christ, she looks like a tiny 45-year-old woman. Maybe she's like Benjamina Buttina. We infiltrate the base by turning into a pooch and then have to press a button on a computer to open a door. I hope that was thrilling for you because pressing buttons on a computer is one of the 3 things that you do in this game. The second thing you do is stealth. Cahal lumbers about like a disorientated silverback gorilla and gives guards a sweaty cuddle of death. I hope you find sweaty cuddles thrilling because you'll be doing a lot of them. Takes me back to my time in prison. You know, because I played a lot of video games in prison, in between brutal lovemaking sessions anyway. After pressing another button, Cahal's wife tells him she's being attacked by something called a black spiral dancer. On the way, we bumble into a room full of guards where we get to experience the third thing you do in this game, which is mashing squishy fleshlings up as a giant werewolf. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Sir Richard Pitchard, I find myself strangely attracted to you and want to touch your face. And also, turning into a werewolf sounds fun. Well, covering your scrotum with glow-in-the-dark paint to scare a load of trick-or-treaters sounds fun. But you won't be laughing when you're in the non-swing. Does that make sense? I'm basically just saying it's shite, alright? Cahal finds his wife, but it's not looking good.
Ludmilla!
Cahal, tell 80.
No! Please, no!
Oh no, please, no, Ludmilla. Oh, my wife is dead, bloody hell. Cahal turns into a werewolf and it's boss time. Mash attack, occasionally dodge, and heal if necessary. You just passed Sir Richard Pitchard's crash course in how to get through this game while only engaging 5% of your brain. Cahal tears the Black Spiral Dancer apart, but apparently the fury has taken him because he attempts to kill his brother-in-law and then succeeds in killing some dog bloke called Rafik. He then immediately goes back to normal. Listen viewer, I want you to remember that. He gives into the rage and then returns to normal after about 15 seconds. That will be very important later. God, I love foreshadowing. Cahal is tortured by what he did, so he leaves his werewolf crew. 5 years later and Cahal has got a job doing exactly what he was doing before, sneaking into bases and pressing buttons. However, Cahal finds a big cache of silver bullets and finds out that Endron have bought the bullets with the intention of attacking his old werewolf mates. Cahal goes to confront the shady exec selling them, but decides the path of least resistance is just to tear them apart anus first. Racked with guilt, Cahal heads back to Tarka's Mill, the hangout base for his old werewolf troop. When he gets there, he finds that Endron have already launched their attack, and Rodcore, the boss, is going toe-to-toe with a mech. Oh my god, Rodcore has an eye patch, that's so cute! But wait, when they turn into werewolves, their claws disappear and then reappear. But apparently this doesn't apply to the eye patch. Why doesn't it apply to anything else, like their underwear? Why can't I see a werewolf in a giant pair of bull stranglers?
Right.
Yeah, right. Is that it? That screams of get writer to insert sarcastic Nathan Drake-esque one-liner here. Oh shit, we run out of time, just have a say right, I guess. The mech woman shoots Rodcore, who flops away like a footballer trying to win a foul. Cahal steps in and oh, here we go. We're gonna get to fight a mech. Finally something interesting and oh, she just moonwalks out. Okay, yay, we won I guess. Cahal wants to know where his elderly daughter is and whether she's safe. Turns out she's undercover at Endron, but don't worry, she's a great undercover agent and I'm sure she's under no threat whatsoever, right? God, I love foreshadowing. Endron have taken over an abandoned mine nearby and turned it into a training facility for new recruits. But before we can head over, we have to pay respects to the Kane's guardian spirit. God, I hate that word. Kane. Anyway, it looks like a giant tree sphincter, and true to its appearance, it spouts some abstract shit about Gaia and the worm, and it talks so slowly.
Your cairn needs you, and the wild has need of your protection.
Come on, Sphincter Man, speed up. I've got buttons to press, you know. We head to Endron's training centre where we tell the recruiter that we want to enlist, and Kahal is smooth as fuck.
Can't say I blame you. What's your name?
Kahal Phil.
Of course, my name. It's Beret, not Werewolf. It's Norwegian. The recruiter thinks we look like a former prisoner and gives us one piece of advice. Do not tell the instructor we used to be a con, because he hates them. Okay, noted. Got it.
So, what's your story? I'm fresh out of prison. 5 years. Heard Endron could give me a new start.
Yeah, I could smell it on you. People like you are the fucking scum of the earth, you know that?
Kahal, you dingle! Well, to be fair, it doesn't seem to matter because the instructor lets us in anyway. So why tell us, game? Why tell us about that? Why not give us some consequences? I wanted to see Kahal get coshed. Not because of the prisoner thing, he just sort of like rubs me up the wrong way. We sneak into the mines for some reason despite being recruited, which means that entire thing was pointless. But if you get spotted, you pretty much have no choice but to go full canine. So before long, Kahal is turning Endron employees into particularly fleshy kibble. Oh no, you've done it now, Kahal. This entire base will be monitored by cameras, right? Now that we've done that, the entire base will be on high alert, right? There's absolutely no way they wouldn't notice an entire area being soaked in the blood of their minimum wage workers, right? Wrong. Kahal might as well have set off a nuclear bomb for all it matters. The rest of the base is none the wiser. Oh, another mech. This is going to be fun, right? Wrong again. God, you're not doing very well today, are you? The mechs are a constant annoyance as they're basically big metal sponges that constantly knock you over and take far too long to defeat. By the way, every enemy in this game, and I mean every enemy, can be defeated by mashing attack. You have two combat stances, agile and strong, but it just amounts to hit faster but do less damage, or hit slower and do more damage. Whoa, slow down, Werewolf. You've already got button pressing and sneaking around. Don't want to succumb to feature creep, right?
Security's detected an intruder, but he's not going anywhere now that we've got the site locked down.
Detected. What was the giveaway? The fact that 25% of the base's staff will have to be taken home in a bucket. Kahal plants some explosive and blows the mine sky high. Endron will hear all about this. Sir, security have detected signs that the training facility may be in danger. Apparently they're picking up some suspicious activity from the smouldering ruin that used to be the building. Kahal returns to the cairn and says hello to his mate Ava and then reunites with his daughter, who, given the fact that she's 5 years older, looks less like an elderly woman and more like she's about to ask for the manager. She tells Kahal to piss off, but also tells him about something shady Endron are doing called the Earthblood protocol, which involves injecting their men with something that turns them super strong. Alright, 1 second, Werewolf, someone's ringing me. Oh, it's Umbrella Corp. They said they want their stupid, self-defeating villainous plans back. Oh, wait a second, let me put them on hold. I've got another call coming through from Wayland Yutani. Oh, Shimra kicking off as well now. Look what you've done, Werewolf. Bad dog. Apparently, the big obstacle at the moment is that Endron's data is encrypted. Don't set the stakes too high, game. Our next mission is to infiltrate another set of grey corridors to gain direct access to Endron's servers to gather more data. Luckily, Kahal is brilliant at pressing buttons, so he volunteers for the job. After some incredibly dull stealthing and smashing, we talk to an Endron doctor who looks like she's just had 5,000 volts shot through her. We convince her that we're actually Endron's super secret forces and that we're there to protect her. Yeah, because I'm sure Endron employs men who look like hobo bikers. She tells us that the super secret data that we've come to claim regarding some biofuel related to the Earthblood protocol is already open on her computer. Apparently, Endron needs to train their staffs to use Control L when not at their desks. So yeah, Kahal used guile and quick thinking to get past a problem there. Let's keep that up. Oh, Kahal. You let yourself down there, mate. Keep your pants on next time. So we have to press 3 buttons to disable 3 security terminals and then we nonchalantly walk out.
I'm out.
Good. And they don't suspect a thing. The plan worked perfectly.
Yeah. I don't think I left a single trace that I was there. Our next mission is to infiltrate another set of grey corridors to gain direct access to Endron's servers to gather more data. Viewers who are paying attention will have noticed that I use the exact same sentence when describing the previous mission. If the game isn't going to try, then why should I? The gang all stroll into Endron's base and Cahal's daughter, who is undercover, says nobody suspects a thing. Oh god, I love fornication. Foreshadowing. After pressing a fuck ton of different and exciting buttons, we hear that Adina has been taken by Endron and they knew what we were up to all along. By the way, viewer, it was at this point that I figured out that enemies can't see through open doors. Once you pass over a threshold, you cease to exist. Maybe this is the result of the worm's influence, or Project Bloodclot, or whatever it was called. Super strength, but you can no longer outwit a cactus. With Adina under duress, we hear that Rodcore has gone buck wild, and we follow his trail of destruction. When we catch up with him, we find him gobbling down some man meat, but not in that way, and Cahal decides that he's given into rage and must be put down. Cahal, he's a wolfman, not an XL bully. Also, remember, viewer, how Cahal gave into rage and then was totally fine 30 seconds later? Werewolf the Apocalypse, whatever it was called, sure doesn't remember. So we have to fight Rodcore, which involves mashing attack, dodging, and occasionally healing, and Cahal sticks his hand right through him like he's a ghost. Cahal tells Rodcore that no one could blame him for giving in to his rage, but Cahal doesn't apologise for ripping his intestines out. So far, Cahal, you've killed 2 werewolves, which is more than we've seen Endron kill, and he apparently is a sympathetic protagonist. I have more sympathy for Rolf Harris's didgeridoo. I bet it could tell some harrowing stories. So Cahal was too late to save Adina. Cahal has already lost his wife and now his daughter. He clearly went to the Ethan Mars school of how to keep your family alive and safe. Cahal finds out that his daughter has been taken to a prison in Nevada to be experimented on. Before we head off though, we see an Endron soldier mutate into a hideous monstrosity in front of our eyes that Cahal has to nobly mash attack at. Oh, one second, I'm getting another call. It's Resident Evil. They want their humans mutating into spaghetti monsters back. Oh, now Dead Space is WhatsApping me. For fuck's sake, Werewolf the Apocalypse, another subtitle. In order to get into the prison holding his daughter, Cahal pretends to be the Badlands Butcher, a notorious serial killer who has evaded capture for years, but who the authorities are more than happy just to be let loose to wander around the prison. To get to Adina, we need info, so Cahal decides to help a mafia don kill 2 of his men who are plotting against him. However, we have to be sneaky about it. The first one is in a workshop, and it is suggested that we tamper with his machine to kill him, and we are specifically told we can't just walk up to him and kill him because there are too many guards. So after just walking up and killing him with no consequences, I accidentally get spotted in my doggy form. The guards clearly hate furries because they immediately become aggroed, and I end up butchering everyone in the prison. Surely there's a security room somewhere, and someone will be made aware of the fact that a fuck-off werewolf has just torn through the entire prison population, right? Wrong again, you twat. But surely we're screwed. How can we find Adina if we killed the only person who knew where she was? Worry not, viewer, because in an incredibly fortunate stroke of good luck, we just so happened to find our mate in this prison cell who overheard a conversation between guards whilst we were, quote, chomping down on people. Yeah, they've taken that girl we kidnapped to the prison laboratory. Listen, don't be rude. Just because your scrotum has been flung across the room by a wolf doesn't mean we can't have a conversation. On the way to the laboratories, we find this scraggly looking werewolf lady in a cell, so we set her free. I'm sure she'll be eternally grateful and aid us in our struggle against Endron. God, I love foreshadowing. Like always, Cahal was too late. So we hop in a truck with Anawa, the lady werewolf, and together we head to her territory. Once we get there, Anawa asks us to pay respects to her guardian spirit, who speaks as slowly as Tree Sphincter did, but is more of a dick to us. We find out that Adina was taken to Endron's Nevada HQ, so we have to head in and press some buttons again. However, this time our button pressing plan goes awry as we get trapped in an elevator by Richard Watkins, the president of Endron, who launches Protocol Earthblood, which presumably turns everyone into monsters, and he will somehow profit off this. Endron are an energy company, I think? Unless the monsters sleep under electric blankets or use dehumidifiers, I don't see what this gains them. Cahal gives chase to Watkins, but is tackled and stopped by a werewolf belonging to Anawa's Kian. Dun dun dun! Cahal rips off its head, lungs, liver and anus and heads back to Anawa. Turns out she's working with Endron and has agreed to kill us to be left alone. Boss time. The The target is the Guardian Spirit. He sends a few werewolves after us whom we have to defeat. Then he becomes vulnerable to attack. Rinse and repeat until we win. Good job, Werewolf. You managed to successfully pull off a shit boss fight that even Batman Arkham Asylum would be proud of. We rip out the Guardian Spirit's brain and it turns out he's been corrupted by the worm. And in turn, he corrupted an hour. The likely story. Oh, thank God for that. I was all corrupted. Didn't even know what I was doing. Definitely don't deserve to have my head, lungs, liver and anus removed. Adina has been taken to an oil rig. When we get there, Kahal is focused solely on his daughter, but his hacker friend explains that Endron's plan is to release a new biofuel that will turn people into monsters, and as well as saving Adina, we have to stop it. Although I'm not sure how dangerous the monsters are. I mean, we see a human transform here, and then proceed just to wander about like he forgot what he came in for. Hello? Do you speak English? I don't know what to do with this fella. Best just, there we go. We find Adina, but unfortunately she's been turned into a spaghetti bug monster, so Kahal does what he does best and proceeds to murder someone he loves. Fortunately, Earthblood must have scrambled her brain or something because she spends most of the time clipped into the wall, meaning it's no trouble at all for Kahal to beat his daughter to death.
80! 80! I'm here! It's alright!
Dad,
I'm here.
it hurts. Dad, I don't want to die. I don't.
80.
No open casket funeral for Adina, I guess. As Kahal mourns his mess of a daughter, his hacker friend says that they're under attack and they might not make it without his help. But Kahal wants to go after Richard Watkins for revenge. A difficult choice. Oh God, what to do? I mean, given that I literally care more about the pubes that get washed down the plug hole when I take a shower than I do about anything going on in this travesty of a game, I'll go with killing Watkins, given that he's marginally closer. Oh, tough choice. Face to face with Watkins. Well, not quite face to face. Let's just walk slowly over to him. There we go. After some stilted conversation, Watkins turns into a horny spaghetti monster for the final boss. You know what that means? Defeating his henchman while trying to take potshots at him. I'm really aware that to the untrained eye this might look like fun, but the combat is as weightless as a fart and about as much fun to spend time with. Like a fart, Kahal clears the room and takes down Watkins. With his revenge completed and all of his mates dead, Kahal blows the oil rig to smithereens. Bad news, I'm afraid. He wasn't inside it when it blew up. I know, I'm upset as well.
Watkins' research. Find them for me.
A fucking sequel hook. I've got more chance of being happy and successful than this shower of shite has in having a sequel, and you can contribute to my happiness by subscribing to my channel before fucking off. Bye bye. Kahal. Why can't I do it without doing the Wah.